Welcome crafters! Peonies are one of my favorite flowers, so let's craft some mini crepe peony bouquets for some happy mail. First, let's cut and prepare the peony petals template on paper. I chose to cut mine on the Cricut, but I do have a PDF version that you can cut by hand too. Both are available on my website. You could definitely freehand cut it as well, as each petal should look slightly different. I think it adds more to the overall flower. If you are cutting it on the Cricut, each petal is grouped together so you can resize them all at once while keeping correct proportions. I also cut out some paper eucalyptus leaves on the Cricut, which is also available on my website. If you do use this file, make sure to change the lines to score instead of cut so that it makes a score line in the center of the leaves. After you cut out the peony template, use it to guide you while cutting the crepe paper. I put rough number ranges on how many petals you'll need per flower, basically 3 to 5 petals per size. I usually cut a few extra and place the petals until I think it looks full. When you cut out the petals, make sure to cut it so that the lines are going in an upwards direction, not sideways. This will be important when we shape and curl the petals later. Then it's time to give the petals some personality. Cut some extra waves on the tops and then take a few petals and cut them into a heart-like shape or like an animal footprint and round off the edges. Make sure to not leave any straight edges. Always round off your corners when cutting. I like to cut each one with a slightly different wavy top so that each petal has its own character and its own movement. Now cut the center of the flower. Cut a strip roughly 1.5 inches to 2 inches in width and 6 inches in length, with the paper lines running lengthwise. Depending on how large you want your overall peony, you can always adjust this width. Then use scallop scissors or pinking shears on one of the long sides. This makes it so that there aren't any straight edges. Then cut thin strips on the long side, leaving space at the bottom straight, not scalloped side for gluing. The thinner you can make these lines, the better your overall flower looks. Now curl the edges of the center strips using the Cricut Scraper Tool. You could also use a dowel here as well and just roll it around the dowel. Then curl all of the petals. Start with the center of the petal and curl outwards towards both ends so it makes a little boat shape. I am again using my Cricut Scraper Tool, but you could totally use a round dowel or even a marker to curl the petals around it. Now let's start building the flower. Bend the top of a floral wire so that you have a surface to glue onto. Then glue on the centerpiece, gluing and rolling. You could use tacky or hot glue here. I like to use hot glue just because it dries just a little bit quicker. After the center is all glued, I like to kind of smush down the fringe tops, and then I use some small scissors to trim off any pieces that are bent in a weird way. Now glue on the petals, starting with the smaller petals and then moving on to the larger ones. Make sure to save a few of the smaller petals for later. To further prep the petals, pull from the center outwards to make a cup shape. And then I also like to twist the tops and kind of smush them a little bit to give them a little bit more character and movement. When gluing on the petals, make sure to window them, don't just stack them right on top of each other. To glue, I simply apply a little dot of hot glue to the bottom of the petal and press it around the wire. Finish gluing on the petals, again smallest to largest, then I cover the top of the flower with my hand and I kind of smush the petals so they all face towards the center. Then glue on a few of the smaller or medium-sized petals on the outside to finish off the flower. I think it makes the flower look prettier from the side. Then glue on the small leaf shapes onto the bottom of the flower, curling the leaves away from the flower. I think the base of the flower looks nicer if the stem is a little bit thicker right under the flower, so I just cut a small strip of green crepe paper and glued it around the base. Then to make that glued on crepe paper blend in nicely with the whole stem, I wrap floral tape around the stem. If you've never used floral tape before, when you slightly stretch it, it becomes sticky, so slightly pull and twist the flower to wrap it. To finish off these mini paper bouquets, of course you are going to need some greenery. I am going to curl those paper leaves that I cut earlier using a dowel to give them a little bit more movement. For arranging the mini paper bouquets, I just cut a circle out of cute paper and taped it into a cone. It's easiest to add a little tissue paper, then add the greenery and add the flowers last. Add a ribbon and this lovely happy mail can be on its way. Hope you loved making these crepe paper peonies, and keep smiling, keep crafting, and don't forget to subscribe.